Good morning, everybody. My name is Rodolfo Gonzalez. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Optimus Business Transformation. And today we will cover a webinar around food and beverage, focusing in particular with Microsoft Artificial Intelligence and Copilot. I personally have a long history with Microsoft, where I worked for almost 20 years as the Dynamics ERP lead for Caribbean and Central and Latin America. And then I moved to Optimus 3 years ago as Chief Operating Officer. And the reason I moved was with this focus of the company in growth, in efficiency, in having resources with each on average over 10 years of experience in the industry. Their focus on verticals, in particular food and beverage, is one of our key, together with retail, one of our key verticals that we focus on. And at the same time, because our founder and CEO, Hector Negron, has always had a passion about leading technology. And this leading technology, as of today, is Microsoft Artificial Intelligence and Copilot. And you have probably seen the focus and the investments that the company has made. So today we will cover the kind of a brief introduction of what Copilot is, the different products that the Copilot provides in workflows and empowering companies to augment their efficiencies and their competitiveness around with the help of artificial intelligence, and on top of Microsoft products like Microsoft Office 365 and Dynamics. And then we will cover a real-world business scenario with a focus on food and beverage. And then we'll talk about how we can streamline tasks and automate activities and processes around Copilot. And eventually, at the end, we will go through a Q&A. So this video was presented at the last Super Bowl in the United States. The company spends millions of dollars just for 30 seconds or 1 minute. And normally Microsoft does not advertise here because they focus more into businesses instead of an audience of over 100 million people that watch the Super Bowl worldwide. But they consider that this not only impacts companies, but impacts everybody that is creative, everybody that needs to improve their efficiencies. So the help that artificial intelligence provides and will provide in the future, it's going to be a dramatic shift. And the tier 3 areas where it mentions, talks about Copilot. And in particular, Copilot and artificial intelligence would not necessarily replace humans, but humans using artificial intelligence will replace other humans. And the way I draw a parallel is when I was young, I have my years now, the Excel and Word were just when I started working in their infancy. Before that, obviously, I could not use Excel or Word because it did not exist. And I was one of the leaders of, actually, it wasn't even called, wasn't even Excel, it was Lotus Notes, and before that, VisiCalc. And that helped me get an edge. And where I was working at that moment, I innovated with that. And eventually, today you cannot imagine yourself working with like a PowerPoint presentation that we have, with Excel, with Word. So it is really needed to improve our efficiency. Those that at one moment they did not even exist. And something even more dramatic will happen with artificial intelligence, because it will cover every single aspects of our lives and work. At the same time, Copilot is not autopilot. It doesn't mean that you can just generate artificial intelligence and just rest on it. And that's also my personal experience, is that you have to give it personal touch. And you have to first give the objectives, what you're looking for, then give it certain parameters. And within those parameters, artificial intelligence will give you the information, awesome information. But at the same time, you have to review it, check it, make sure that it makes sense. It could be that you didn't give him enough parameters, you have to give him more, or that the information is not exactly what you wanted, and so you need to review. But it is dramatic how it does help and how it does reduce even today to our company, because we did implement this internally. As I mentioned, Hector Negron is always on the leading edge. So as soon as Copilot became available worldwide as a solution for the masses, especially when they invested billions of dollars with ChatGPT. To give you an idea, they spent over $10 billion on ChatGPT, but there were already, even when I was still working with Microsoft, they were making billions of dollars of investments in artificial intelligence. So once we started there, we started as one early adopter. And then that was over a year ago, which is amazing. One thing that it's only just a months or a couple of years since we started working with this, how we were able to adopt it so quickly, dramatically within our company. Okay, and then finally, this will have the artificial intelligence will be transformational, like it was at one moment the printing press, the steam engine, the electricity, computing, etc. And excuse me, one second. I hear some background noise. You will have to move to another place. So, okay, so it looks like they stopped. My next neighbor is hammering something. Apologize for that. So, how dramatic is AI going to be? So I would say it's dramatic as of today. But there are studies that it doesn't mean that automatically all jobs will disappear because artificial intelligence. It will help. It will help automate, especially the repetitive activities like we saw originally with the Industrial Revolution, that everyone was working on the farms, eventually went to factories. Then how that has had an impact. This will be something similar, but at the same time, it will be like the Industrial Revolution, that the whole economy, the whole world benefited from that Industrial Revolution. It had some hiccups, but at the same time, it did create a lot of new work. One of the studies says that about 80 million in several years to come, 80 million jobs will be eliminated. But at the same time, 95 million jobs will be created. So that's just an estimate, but I do believe that as some jobs are eliminated, then others come up and replace with more productivity, more efficiency throughout, in a particular case that we're talking about today, throughout the whole supply chain, and make the work of the workers more efficient, and they can focus more on quality, on driving additional revenue, driving down the cost. And that's kind of the idea of what artificial intelligence can mean for all companies and for us, particular in the work we do. And the final one is from from the universities, Pennsylvania, NYU, and Princeton, that 80% of the jobs will be impacted by ChatGPT. And I would say internally, one aspect or another, it does impact us as a company internally within Optimus. Generation Alpha is the generation that was born around the 2010. So after Gen Z came Generation Alpha. And these new, even though they're not in the labor force yet, they're already changing the perception of how shopping is being carried out. And the way it is happening is that everybody thought, well, everything was going to go into through social media, through purchasing online and like that, and that the big stores will disappear. But what we're seeing is a transformation. That transformation is that they want to have a place to look at the products and at the same time have that experience, but they want to have it locally. And this has been kind of heavily influenced by by COVID, as people moved from the working in the downtown to the suburbs. Now you have to have a store nearby. But this means a transformation, especially also for the food and beverage industry, that smaller shops with a smaller inventory close. But it's a combination of online and store. So the inventory in each one of those smaller stores has to be really dramatically controlled to make sure that, especially if you have perishables, that you're not wasting them away, and at the same time the supply chain to make sure that depending on this particular store, you need this type of product. These type of products, in this other store you need other type of products because of the market, that small market that you're working on. And so this is a challenge and at the same time a great opportunity to increase sales. So, but again, the supply chain needs to address those. And at the same time, users are more accustomed now to go to the store, but maybe buying online or buying there, or have it delivered to their home, or have it delivered to the store. So that is how the supply chain is being dramatically transformed. At the same time, we have the self-order, self-checkout, and this is something that I would say 2 or 3 years ago, it was just kind of Walmart, the only one that was having this self-checkout. Now it happens throughout. And this particular moment, I'm visiting Argentina, and all the medium-sized supermarkets, they all have self-checkouts. So, and for example, Amazon in the US, they have stores that are 100% self-checkout, so you don't even have a cashier. Or you can have to go to the customer service if you wanted to have that experience. And so this is also an area that Optimus has been driving for the last couple of years of not only selling self-service, self-checkouts and self-order, but at the same time, integrating the solutions with the self-checkouts with Dynamics, because obviously it's not only about the purchasing, but making sure that's seamlessly integrated with your solution in the back end, like Dynamics Business Central. And now let's focus a little more on how Microsoft is focusing on with Copilot, with artificial intelligence. As I mentioned originally, it was ChatGPT, $10 billion investment by Microsoft. But at the same time, they're investing every quarter billions of additional dollars to integrate ChatGPT and improve the artificial intelligence experience. And they have in different areas, for example, Dynamics 365 in sales, marketing. Yesterday we had a presentation similar to this one, Copilot, but focuses on marketing and sales. Yeah, you have it for field service, project operations, for the Dynamics Business Central. And so throughout their business solutions, Dynamics 365 is that they're deeply improving day by day. And when I say day by day, it's really so, because what I see today in Dynamics is much better than it was 6 months ago, that was 3 months ago, and it's going to be that those leaps of improvements are going to be like that in the months and years to come. So if you like what you see today, you can imagine how it's going to look in a little time from now. So they have embedded the Copilot within all these dynamic solutions, and at the same time with the Power Platform. Power Platforms is our extension. It is the way you can do, instead of having really experienced developers, you can now have people that are experts on their business. They can learn how to use Copilot with low code, no code, which is the base for Power Platform, and having those some simple solutions integrated with your current software to implement, and also Power BI, and which is the business intelligence by excellence, the #1 in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. And with Power BI, there is also Copilot for Power BI. And finally, we're going to be talking today about Microsoft 365. There was a whole presentation on how Copilot really increases the power of the Microsoft 365, which is, you probably remember what Office was. Office was Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But now with Microsoft 365, in addition to those three, you have Outlook, you have Teams, you have OneNote, you have Defender as a security solution on top of those. And I invite you to go through that webinar. We have it recorded. We will talk to you about it at the end. But it is something, for example, you on Copilot, you tell it, okay, create a policy around, which we actually did, a policy around human resources for expenses. And it does create you a beautiful policy that would have taken us a couple of hours. We were able to do it in 5 minutes, and then we review it, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Then you could even create a PowerPoint presentation out of that document, which will give you, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, or 8 slides, depending on the length of the document. And it will create a PowerPoint that you can now show to your employees. And then that PowerPoint, it will give you even some pictures, graphics, and the scripts from the Word document. It will take the concepts and put in each one of those slides a script on how you could even read that document or memorize that document to do the presentation. So that's a little example, but it's throughout Outlook, throughout Teams, and we're going to be covering some of those aspects in the how for Food and Beverage the Copilot will help. And with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Jorge Castro. Jorge is our Vice President for Artificial Intelligence and CRM. And he has a master's degree from the United States, and he has focused on artificial intelligence and leading Optimus in this endeavor around Copilot. With that, Jorge, feel free to share.
Thank you, Rodolfo, and good morning, everyone. For today, we are going to be doing a demonstration of the functionality of Copilot. Let me share my screen. I'm going to be doing the demonstration, and at the end, we are going to have a couple of minutes to do questions on some other things. So the idea of the demonstration today is going to be show you how the functionality of Copilot is going to be related with Office. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use it in Outlook, in Word, in Excel, and I want to highlight the functionality on Teams because it's one of the ones that I consider that is more important or more powerful. So the first one is going to be related with Outlook. Uh, you could use Copilot in multiple ways in Outlook. The first one is going to be to generate new emails. Uh, when you start your new email, and if you already have the Copilot functionality, you are going to have basically two icons. The first one is going to be this one in the left that just mentioned Copilot. And if you have Copilot for Sales, you are going to have this second one, the Copilot for Sales. In terms of licenses, it's going to be the same, but if you have CRM Dynamics, you are going to have the Copilot for Sales as well. So I'm going to show you how to use both of them functionality. I'm probably just highlight the differences between of them. So the first one is going to be the Copilot for Sales. That is the one that I like most. Basically, on that functionality, you could just draft the email. Okay, so I'm going to write an email to our support table informing that I am trying to do a specific activity in the system, and the system is not working properly. It's a pretty simple email. And the functionality is going to provide or is going to generate an email directly with the instruction that I just provide. It's almost done, apparently, and taking a moment, taking more time. Okay, so it's not working at the moment. So, but the idea is that you could just generate the document, and you could just generate. Let me try to open an email. Sometimes happen when I already have that. Let me try to do it again. But you just need to click on draft, click on the test that you want to generate, and the Outlook is the Copilot functionality is going to generate the email, the draft. Okay. And this functionality, the Copilot functionality, the Copilot for Sales functionality is going to allow you to generate the email with a couple of instructions. Let me try to do this one. If you use this one, you could just write what exactly you want to generate. And here in this button, you could modify the tone or you could modify the length that you want to use for your email. Like let's say that you want to be more direct or be more formal or be more casual or just generate a medium email. I mean, you could just define here what do you want to generate. And the Copilot functionality is going to generate the test for you. Why I prefer the other one that now is not working, I don't know why, but the other one allows you to define the language and allows you to define a couple of additional things that sometimes are useful. But in terms of the content, it's basically the same. I mean, you could generate both content with exactly the same precision. And additionally, on this Copilot functionality, there is an additional functionality called coaching by Copilot. With this functionality, you could just write your own email and after that request for a coaching by Copilot. So it's going to suggest you things and it's going to make the things better in terms of production. So both of them functionality are going to be useful. And you just need to have the license. I mean, as soon as you have the license, the icon is going to appear there, and you don't need to add or modify anything in your Outlook to make it available. Just have the license. So the functionality is going to be really useful. Actually, if you already have an email and you want to validate or you want to generate an answer to that email, you could do it as well using Copilot. Here you are going to have the Copilot for Sales as well. And you could have here a summary. You could have here, for example, in the Copilot for Sales, you could request for save that directly in your dynamic CRM or in your dynamic Business Central. You could just save it directly. Well, it should be in CRM. If you use Copilot for Sales and if you already have an email here, you could just save the email directly to the Dynamics. You are going to have a summary of the content of the email. And additionally, if you click in the drag an email, you could just drag an answer regarding to that email. On that answer, you could change the language. You could just save the summary to Dynamic CRM. So those functionalities are going to be available because of Copilot. It's going to generate a summary. It's going to allow you to save the summary to Dynamics. It's going to allow you to copy the summary, change the language if you want it. You could just move it to Dynamics. So there are multiple things that are going to be available there because of the Copilot. Okay, so that basically is the functionality in the Outlook. Basically generate emails, summary emails, and have the ability to send that to the CRM. Of course, if you already have the CRM, you could just move it the email to the CRM directly. But if you have the Copilot, you have the additional functionality that you could just move it to the CRM, including a summary. So it's going to be more like precise, or at least it's going to allow you to save that as well. Okay, so the next functionality that I'm going to show you is going to be on Word. Basically, the Word functionality is kind of easy or simple as well. You are going to have two ways to do it. You could just click on the icon here in the Copilot, or you could do it directly here in the editor. So let's say that I want to generate a document. Generate a document with a supply policy. Let's say I'm going to write there. So generate a document with the supply policy for organic shelves. So it's something pretty simple. Just define a policy. So actually you could define here, okay, I wanted at least 2 pages, or I want to make it formal, or I mean, you could do additional instructions here. At the end, you are going to click on generate, and the Copilot is going to generate a document automatically. You could do that as well, clicking this icon. I prefer do it directly because it's not direct. But it's going to generate the document in a very good way. For sure, you need to adjust some, probably justify the text and some other things that are according to your needs or to your preferences. But basically, it's going to generate a document with all the information that is important for you. So this is the way to generate the document, but now I want to ask for additional things. So I'm going to click on Copilot here. I'm going to ask for some things that the system could do and some other that the system cannot do. Change the font color to blue, something like that. Something pretty simple, but the Copilot is not going to do that, or at least is not doing that at the moment. So it's going to tell you that unfortunately he cannot do that. But the good thing here is that you could ask him how to do it. Okay, you cannot do that, but show me how to do it. So you could just ask him how to do. I mean, there are multiple icons or multiple menus here in Word that probably you don't know how it works. So you could ask Copilot how to do something, and it's going to explain you step by step how to do it. And if you even don't know where to find the things, you could just click on show me, and it's going to show you the icon that you need to do. I'm doing the example with something simple, that is the color of the font, but you could do it with multiple different things, like how to insert a chart or something probably more complex than just the color. And again, Copilot is going to explain you how to do it. It's going to tell you the step by step. And actually, if I click on show me, it's going to change the menu and it's going to show me exactly the icon that I need to do. So it's going to be useful, not just to generate content. Additionally, you could have instructions of how to use the platform, how to use the Word functionality or something like that. Well, additionally, if I already generated content, but I want additional things, like for example, let's say that I want to add a paragraph that captures a summary. You could just click here as well. Well, probably generate here. And the system is going to generate an additional paragraph with a summary of the document. And it's going to include the paragraph just straight there. So anyway, you could add a summary, you could ask Copilot to add a paragraph for a specific topic. I mean, you could define what do you want to include, and the system is going to do that automatically. Additionally, if you write a paragraph and you want to ask Copilot for a better redaction, you could just right click and you could have the option of rewrite it with Copilot. Let me see something here. So basically, you are going to right click, and auto rewrite. It's going to rewrite the content there. So you could use it for generate content, and you could use it to modify the content that you write by yourself, but you want to request for some, I mean for some complementary review for Copilot. Okay, so there is the multiple functionalities that you could have in Word. It's going to be pretty useful. Every day is going to be better. And it's going to be useful anyway. Something important that I didn't include that in the presentation, but that I want to mention is that if you generate a content in Copilot, you could include your own test. And if you save that document in your OneDrive or in your SharePoint, after that, you could use that document to generate a PowerPoint with with the information that you already have in your document. So you have your own document, and if you want to generate some PowerPoint, it's going to be pretty useful because you could just generate based on a file, on a Word file. The only condition that you need to keep in mind is that the Word file should be on OneDrive or should be on a SharePoint. If not, PowerPoint is not going to generate that. Anyway, you could go directly to PowerPoint and request to generate a presentation. But probably it's better if you try to take the content that you already have in your Word file. Okay, so that's the functionality that I wanted to show you in Word. Now I'm going to be showing you something in Excel. Let me have this one. So let's say that you already, not this one. Let's say that you have an Excel file, a pretty simple Excel file with some products that are related to a specific category and a unit price, a sold units, and the store that probably is selling that. So it's a really basic Excel file. I didn't want it to relate that to a specific system. Let's say that you have your POS or any other system, but you download the information on Excel and you want to use Copilot to generate some additional information or just to generate some insight. So if you have the information in Excel already, you just need to, of course, it will be on a table. Okay, so you need to take the information and convert that to on a table. You could ask Copilot to how to do it. But basically, if you have the information on a table, you could start interacting with Copilot, asking for a couple of things. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing now is that I want to sort the information for a specific field, for a specific column. So I'm going to ask him sort by date. It's a pretty simple instruction. I know that I could just click the column and click on sort, and that's it. It's going to be quicker. But I just wanted to show you that it's going to help you with simple things like this, like sort a column or like ball a column or something like that. So already organized information based on this column. Additionally, you could request, I don't know why, but here, for example, you could bold the first column. Is an instruction that you are asking Copilot to interact with your data, and it's going to be doing that. I don't know why in Word cannot change the font or the color. It's going to be the same, but here works properly. So I think that probably in Word is going to be working soon. Okay, so those are some pretty simple instructions that are not going to add any value really, but let's say that you want to visualize the information. That's something that probably is the prettiest cool that I saw in Copilot. You could ask him to visualize this information, and it's going to generate and it's going to suggest you a chart. The initial chart is not going to be too impressive, but the good thing is that it's going to allow you to generate multiple ones, and for sure some of those are going to be useful for you. So I asked Copilot to visualize this data. It's taking a moment. I hope. Okay, it's going to generate the first chart, but additionally, it's going to tell you, okay, you want to add all insights to the grid. That's the functionality that I like most. Because when I click there, the Copilot functionality is going to add multiple charts, reviewing the information and analyzing the information, and of course, at least one of these charts is going to be useful for you. It's going to add pivot tables that are going to be required to generate a chart, and it's going to be adding at least six charts. So that functionality is really, really useful because one of that charts for sure is going to be useful for you. Additionally, and it's something impressive as well, you could ask Copilot to suggest a column. Sometimes you have the information, but you don't know what else you could add, or probably you consider that you don't require any additional thing. But if you ask Copilot to suggest a column, it's going to review your information, of course, information that is in this file, not the whole information, just the information in this file. And it's going to suggest you a column. And the good thing is that it's going to explain you the column. It's going to tell, okay, I consider that you could add this column. The formula that I'm going to be using for this column is going to be this one. And if you want to add the column, you just need to click on insert column, and Copilot is going to be inserting the information here. And it's going to generate the additional column that you just add. I don't know why I didn't do the calculation, but it's going to allow you to add additional columns if you want. Okay, so that's another really good functionality that is pretty impressive to me as well. You could add or request specific things, like for example, you could ask Copilot add a column to compare this column with this other column, and it's going to add the column as well. So if you don't want to add the column manually and include the formula manually, if you want to do it something more direct, you could ask Copilot to do that as well. So that's another thing that you could do that in Excel. So let's go back. Let's go to the Teams functionality. On the Teams functionality, you're going to have multiple things as well. The first thing that I'm going to be doing, let me have any of the probably let me use this one. I don't. Okay, so I'm going to be on a conversation that probably I have with a partner with a person in the company, and I want to ask Copilot to highlight things. So I want to ask Copilot to highlight from the past 10 days. It's going to review the conversation. It's going to review what we just talked in the past 10 days, and it's going to provide me a summary. It doesn't matter that it wasn't a conversation that you recorded with the type. No. Just a simple conversation. You could request Copilot to highlight the things, or you could request Copilot for a summarize. For a summary. Sorry. So you could ask Copilot summarize what was discussed about, and it's going to do a summary of the conversation. And additionally, if probably you have a conversation that is pretty long and you don't want to, review everything, you could just list 5 ideas. So Copilot is going to be doing a summary with the 5 ideas that probably just discussed, and it's going to just highlight the 5 ideas that are considered that are more important. Additionally, and this one is pretty useful because it's not just for conversations, could be for meetings. Are there any action items for me? Probably you just arrived late to the conversation or you don't know exactly what you need to do. You could ask a pilot for do a summary and I'll let you know what are the items that you need to attend. So that's a functionality that is available there. That's one of the functionality. The second functionality that is available is that if you have a conversation and you record a conversation, I mean, if you have a meeting and you record a meeting, after that, you could just come here to Copilot for Sales, open the summary, and on the summary, Copilot is going to generate, of course, is going to have the transcript of the conversation here. Additionally, it's going to provide you with this one. I think that is pretty cool because it's going to tell you where was the conversation positive, when were negative, neutral. Additionally, it's going to highlight the words that the people use most. And additionally, it's going to tell you who participated in the conversation, for how long the people was participating, who talks more, what were the words that the people use. So there are additional information that you could find here. And of course, you could generate the summary and some other things, but this one, and actually you could just hear the recording again. And you could identify what's negative or positive and do additional analysis. So that's another thing that I consider that is very powerful. And the last one that I want to mention here, and just to conclude, is that you could use the Copilot Studio. So, for example, for us, we implement a Copilot Studio functionality because sometimes the people don't know how many days, or I mean, we implement that not just for this, we implement that for multiple things. But now, if I want to know uh, the days off that I have available, I mean, how many days I have available for take vacation or holidays, or because we have that in Optimum, I could ask Copilot to get that information, and Copilot is going to answer me here. For example, here is telling me, okay, the user, okay, probably is still robotic yet, but we're going to be fine tuning that. But it's going to tell you how many days you have available, and you could ask him, okay, how this project is going, we are on budget or not, how is this opportunity? I mean, you could start interacting with Copilot to ask things that are happening in Dynamics or that are happening somewhere. I mean, for the moment, we are just interacting with Dynamics, basically with CRM and with Business Central. But you could start asking things like, okay, I want to know this project, how is this project? Actually, if I want to generate a specific task for a person, I could ask about, okay, I want to generate a task for this specific person, and it's going to tell me, okay, when that task should be completed, who is going to be doing the task, and it's going to generate the task directly in CRM. So that's pretty useful because I don't need to enter to CRM just to create a task. I could do it directly using my Teams. So that's another thing that is pretty useful. And just to conclude and to provide the information to you, you could go to Copilot. Let me try to drag and drop this screen. You could come to this website and basically Copilot.cloud.microsoft, and you could just click on prompts to try. And you could see here all the prompts that are available in all the systems. I don't know why it's not showing Excel, but you could see here what are the prompts that are available in the system, and that's something that is going to be really useful as well. Okay, so now I'm going to be passing I'm going to be passing to Rodolfo to continue the presentation. At the end, we're going to have time to the questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jorge. So we talked about on a real case scenarios on how this can improve the efficiency with your companies. It helps you, as Jorge was just talking about, meetings and doing searches. And I'll give you a couple of experiences of personal experience. I had a presentation. Our CEO asked me, "Hey, Rodolfo, I want to talk in front of the whole company." This was Monday. By Friday, I want to talk to the company about these topics. And so he gave me what the objective was. So that's what you have, those prompts that Jorge was showing you. And then you have to give it parameters. And I want to talk about this and that. And then you add a couple of additional thoughts. So normally that would have been, okay, let me start from scratch and put my idea straight, how many slides, etc. So kind of involved. Instead, I took the goal, the ideas, and I asked Copilot, create me a PowerPoint presentation. And it brought me in a beautiful mode. The base of was 6 or 7 slides, and with some graphics, pictures, etc. that I hadn't been asked for those, and they came to make it prettier. And so obviously I had to review it a little bit, but something that will take me maybe 2 hours or 3 hours to work on. It took me just a few minutes. I reviewed everything, sent it back to him. And his first question was, did you use Copilot for this? I said, oh, definitely, obviously. So he was happy and proud that I was actually using our technology for that. So that's one. Another one was regarding meetings. I was having I wanted to be in a meeting, but I had a conflict. So I had 2 of our project managers talk with a customer, and they had it, they recorded it, they had that transcript that Jorge was showing you. And so I went there, and Copilot gave me on Teams, it gave me the summary, it gave me the action items, and I asked our project manager, hey, does this kind of summarize well? Because I didn't know if the summary was good. And the answer was, wow, it was awesome. And so since then, I'm asking our people, and this is something that you can implement rather simply, is whenever you have meetings with customers or within your teams, within the organization, that before was kind of tedious and spending a lot of time writing summary of meetings and action items. And this is something that I'm making everybody just record it and then have that summary. If eventually, if you want to go more details, you can always go to the transcript, but normally we don't need that anymore. And what we used to do a lot is, okay, record, but then you have a 1 hour meeting and nobody has the time to go back and spend 1 hour. But if you can go through that summary that you can read in 5 or 10 minutes and get the gist of it, and also it's good for documenting what was said instead of, I remember something was said somewhere about that. So that's one. Another one is the search. The search with Teams, it can search the whole contents of your Outlook, so you can tell it, okay, I remember we talked about so-and-so. So look my emails where we talked about this and summarize it, will give you a summary. Because sometimes you have a thread of, let's say, one email. This one can check on multiple emails at the same time. But let's say one email, but it has a lot of responses going back and forth. And normally you have to go all the way down to the emails to look into that. Here you can ask it to give you a summary of all that. And then obviously then the content creation we talked about, Jorge was showing you about it. But now in food and beverage, what can it do in addition to all this? Is you heard it about streamlining the communication, reducing the time spent in navigation menus and these meetings that you can do so much about it. But also you can do, for example, on bank reconciliation, that it's sometimes you receive the bank statements and whatever you have in your system for payments, and then reconciling all that information. It used to be very tedious, and sometimes you need more than one person to do it. And here we have done it with bots and also artificial intelligence. to analyze information, put some logic on it, and then having automatically match the items. Then also, for example, on marketing and having AI generated marketing information. So you can have product managers that can use and create content for the products that you're going to be selling. And it can not only create contents, but also bring information from web, print pictures, and you can adapt them to your particular needs. And then on demand planning, we have solutions with AI and also with using dynamics with replenishment. So using different algorithms. Remember earlier on, I talked about how you could have different stores and even smaller stores and make sure that each store has exactly what that store needs. How does it work on it? It looks into the history, looks into the seasonality of that particular store, and then analyze one, and then analyze your main warehouse, how you do it on an aggregate mode, and that way you will be reducing dramatically your inventory, savings thousands and even millions of dollars, and we had case of millions of dollars of savings. All that using the replenishment and artificial intelligence. So, and the company ensure, well, the solution ensures that the raw materials are available when needed and assist in planning deliveries based on product demands. And then you can get real-time insights. Jorge was talking to you about those insights and how you can, from Excel, you can get it. You could also get it from Power BI. And for example, you could, let's say you have a financial document, an Excel document with the results of the last quarter. You can tell it to, through artificial intelligence, maybe a Word document with all the key indicators of the results of the last quarter, and will give you something very, very telling on how to explain that Excel spreadsheet. And then again, as I said before, from that Excel spreadsheet, you create a Word document. From a Word document, create a presentation. Then you can talk about the financial results of your company utilizing artificial intelligence. And so using artificial intelligence, using Dynamics or Microsoft 365, you can get cost savings, real-time data insights, streamlined operations, better control, and improved service provisioning. So in summary, with Copilot in Dynamics and or Microsoft 365, you can get an AI-powered assistant helping you work smarter, adapt faster, and perform better in the dynamic food and beverage industry. So next, how much does it cost? There's a whole presentation on it that talks about the cost of the Copilot. So you do have to have, obviously, if you want to use it with 365, you must have Office, obviously. But having said that, there is a free version which you can download from either your iOS, Android, or your Windows PC, where you can download Copilot for free. And so it helps you get information from the web. It helps you achieve a lot. But now, if you want to work on like Excel, like Word, like PowerPoint, as we were talking before, then the cost is $30 per month per user, and it works on top of Microsoft 365. And the what would be the break even on that one? And you can see $30 a day. I was talking with he's a friend of mine, the general manager for Microsoft, the Caribbean and Central America. Remember, I worked 20 years at Microsoft. And he said that they asked him, okay, what is the ROI for Copilot for those $30? How can I justify it? And he said, well, imagine let's say, what are you, manager? Okay, let's say you can save enough time that it was justified that you have to pay $1 per day. So today, for me personally, based on my salary, it saves a lot more than $1 per day, just a few minutes. And then here you have a comparison now looking at the number of minutes for a break even. So if you have an individual contributor, let's say 60,000, these are US based, but you can always make the simple relationship with your market. If it saves you 11 minutes a day, and somebody that makes 60,000, that's your break even, but you can save a lot more in that area. And same thing as of the higher you're up, the higher pay, the lower it gets. So that's on Copilot, the paid version that works on Microsoft 365. Remember, it was Microsoft 365 is Office plus a few more OneNote, Teams, and security on top of Office, Excel, and Word. Now, there is, I mentioned before on one of the slides that you have Dynamics 365 for sales, for marketing, for Dynamics Business Central. So the version on top of Dynamics, you have to pay $20 additional to the base. So the total will be $50. And now you have for Microsoft 365 Office, basically. And on top of that, the solution for sales, for Dynamics, Business Central, for marketing, for customer service.